Hello, citizens of the internet, and welcome to the Dad's Guide to Minecraft, Create Above and Beyond. Well, in today's episode, we are going to start off doing something as controversial as pineapple on pizza, and that is using the schematic cannon. That's right, the schematic cannon, because does this look familiar? I'm not in the old world. What's going on here? Where are you, DG? What's happening here? Well, I am in my creative test world, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why isn't it super flat? Why isn't the ground made out of glass or some other kind of material? What is going on? I'm kind of a lazy content creator. Maybe that's why, and I didn't set it up right to begin with. Or how about this? How about this? This one's good. I like to test in real world environments. Yeah, that's what it is. That is what it is. Well, anyhow, yes, behind me here, you can see some of the other little inventions that I've done in the past. And I tried out here just to make sure it works so I don't waste a ton of time. And in today's episode, I built an automatic process for producing gearboxes, andesite casing, cog wheels, and shafts right there. Yeah, automatically. And let me show you a little bit of what that's going to look like for this episode, and then we're going to use the schematic cannon, and we're going to shoot this into the survival world as a schematic, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this over again there. So this will make it easy. Hey, look, it's a tutorial. This is a tutorial about how to use schematic cannons. That's it. Think nothing more of it. Okay, so with that, let's get started. All right, so let's come over here and just check out the machinery we got going on here. So basically, we have two things that are coming in. We have andesite alloy, which is coming in right here, and we have wood that's coming in right, or maybe that's reverse actually. Maybe this is andesite right here, and this is wood right here. Yes, they'll be coming in to this machine, and we're splitting it out a couple different times. One, we're cutting this down and making it into buttons up here, so we can make our cog wheels. And then right here, we're just taking the logs straight up because that'll be combined with the andesite, and that makes the andesite casings. So the casings and the cogs together are what make the gear shifts. And then if we come over here, real quick here, you can see we split this line out three different ways. We are just using two of the mechanical crafters to make the shafts. Very easy. And then right here, this is the cog wheel, right? We're making that right there. And then let's see where we are right here. Andesite casing is combined. Kind of get tight right here. So basically it's andesite alloy with a log, and that makes the andesite casing. And then if I fly up here, because I am in creative. And then right here, we have three mechanical arms, which are, always fun to have in here. And they're basically taking stuff off of these two depots. Both the finished andesite casings and the cog wheels off of here, and they're placing them into these brass funnels that have the filters on them, so they know which one goes into which mechanical crafter, and then also into these little funnels right here that go into the chests. And you can see we have also some filters on there as well, so it knows which one to put there. So we're basically dividing out, instead of using the brass tunnels and more of the mechanical belts, we're using the mechanical arms to place things where they need to go. So let's go ahead and get into creating a schematic really quick here, so we can kind of see how we take this design, save it, and move it into a new world, or into the same world somewhere else. So we don't need the schematic table. All we need is, and I have this in my inventory here, we need a piece of paper, piece of light blue dye, and a feather. So what we do is we come into our crafting environment up. Where is my crafting environment? I'm going to need a crafting table. If you're not in creative, you can use your 2x2 for this one. But for right now, let's put this in here. So you got the light blue dye in the paper, and you get an empty schematic, and then you combine the empty schematic with a feather, and that gives you a schematic and quill. And we're going to need this for capturing this whole design. So Okay, with the schematic in our hand, we get this little blue box here. And if we right click it down once, it's going to place it somewhere in the world. And what I want to do for this one is I want to actually have it, you know, kind of aligned with the one corner, and we can always move this if we need to later on, but that puts the first position. And we can go ahead and kind of look off into a direction, and it extends out and up and all this kind of stuff. And this can get a little confusing, but we can always tweak this a little bit later. So let's go ahead and push that right there. Okay, and it kind of sets the second position when you click down on it again and the right click. And we can go over here and we can see that we are shy of this side here. So facing this with our cursor against this side, if we scroll the mouse wheel back by holding down Control, we can move the whole box out this direction. And we can do the same thing. Oop, pick that back up again. I really need to rekey that Q button there, but okay, so this side is fine, but we do need, it looks like, to bring it forward more. So let's go ahead and bring it forward more like this too. So once again, hold down the Control or Command if you're in a Mac. Just move it towards you, and remember, you gotta kind of face the right thing here like that, okay? And because I have these little item frames up here with things, those are actually entities on front of this. So we're gonna bring this one more forward just like that, okay? And then we need to go and just double check the height. So we can come up here, and yes, we're gonna miss those cog wheels up there if we don't come up one more. So let's go ahead and just move it up one more like that. Okay, so that is encompassing 100% of our design. All right, now if we right click it one more time, it brings us to this thing, and we can name and save the schematic. So we're going to call this DG full auto. Yeah, that's fine. That's super creative name. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to save that schematic. Now that saves that into a folder, and if we make a schematic in our other world, our server world, and we have a schematic table like this one, we can access that. Let me get off of there because that block is annoying. We can access that empty schematic here with a schematic cannon attached to a chest with all the blocks that we're going to need to build this, and we'll be able to basically recreate this entire thing. Now, the issue we're going to run into probably is some of these things won't place right. Like, you know, mechanical belts sometimes don't place right. Also, we probably won't get the filters correct on these things. So we're just going to go ahead and make sure that we have everything hooked up properly before we run it in the other world. But yeah, that is pretty much all you do to capture the design. And as we get this built in the other world, I'll go ahead and I'll step you through how this whole thing works, and we'll get it running, and we'll start producing some materials. And this is, you know, basically so Dewey and I don't waste a lot of time having to create all this stuff ourselves, so that we can have the automatic process that makes the basics that we can just run over and grab when we need it. So let's go back into the server world, and let's get this built. Okay, and here we are back in our regular old server world here in survival mode, and let's go ahead and craft a couple of things that we're going to need right off the bat, and then start gathering some supplies that we'll need to build this big contraption in the first place. So let me go ahead and get into the right point of view here. And the first thing that we're going to do is, in this world, let's go ahead and grab some lapis, because we are going to need to make light blue dye right here. And we can turn that into dye, and we can take our bone meal and turn that into dye. And these two together makes light blue dye. Perfect. We are going to need paper. Paper. Why did I forget paper? You know, you have all these things kind of planned out. You think you got everything under control, and then you forget paper. Then you forget paper. All right, let me grab the paper. Good news is I have oodles and oodles of paper, so not a problem. Okay, where was I? Right here. Okay, so we take our paper in here, light blue dye. We get the empty schematics. We can go ahead and make 2 of those. We'll just keep a spare. Even though I think we only need really 1, I think. Or no, I want to hold on to that, I think. We're not going to make the quill, actually, because we're going to actually load these as the schematics, so we don't actually need to write anything in here. So that feather is not necessary for this tutorial. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the schematic table, which is 3 of the planks across the top like that. It can be any kind of plank. Oh, item shelf, that's nice. And then 2 of the smooth stone like that. Okay. Okay, for the schematic cannon, we are going to need a lot of different things. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a cauldron like that. And I guess this is kind of like the thing that it shoots out of. So we put that at the top like that. Then we have a dispenser right below that, a block of iron like that, 2 wood on either side just like that, and then 2 more of the smooth stone right there and right there, and that is the schematic cannon. Now the next thing that we're going to need with this is a chest that's going to go on the side of this. It could be not out of logs like that. That's silly me. Okay, here we go. Need 2 of those, and that gives us, there we go. That's how you make a chest in Minecraft. I'm a professional Minecraft player, by the way. This is everything that we'll need in addition to the gunpowder that will actually power the schematic cannon. Besides the materials that we're going to shoot with this. So we're going to need quite a bit of just different materials, both brass, andesite, the mechanical belt, shafts, the whole enchilada. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of those, set it up in the spot where it's going to go, and then we'll watch this basically see, you know, how this works. Okay, and welcome back. That took a little bit longer than I thought. That was about an hour in real world time to build this, which is basically the floor of the factory that we're going to put it on there. I just used the smooth stone variant slabs, and then also the polished diorite slabs in a checker pattern. I thought that'd be kind of a cool look. And where that log is sticking up there, that is where we're going to run both the andesite and the logs coming up through there. So our factory is going to be facing that direction, and we're going to basically come in from this end over here, and we'll be able to access all the goodies as they come in. I also made it up higher than ground level because I want to actually put all of the guts below it, like the windmill or however we're going to do the power below that. That's, I think, the most important thing is to hide that stuff unless you want to display it. But that's how I'm going to do this factory right here. So anyhow, let's go to our schematic table here, and we have our blank schematic, and we can go ahead and press this in. Okay, when you get in here, this is not the one. This is my test one. We're just going to scroll down to the fully auto. And we're going to bring in our blank schematic here, empty schematic, and check that. And it's going to process it. And there we go. And this is what we're going to feed into the system. Now, as you can see, it's facing the wrong direction, but that's okay. We're actually going to be able to rotate it here in a second. So let's go ahead and place it down. And then we can see kind of which way it's facing. All right, so we need to rotate it around this other direction. So if you hold down the Alt left, which is showing us right there, we can access this, and we can scroll to select the where we want to go, and we want to do right there, rotate. Okay, and now we can rotate it around if we hold down the control button, and we want it to go that way like so. Now we're actually going to need to go back here. Let's go back to Alt, and then we're going to select our positioning one again right there. This way we can kind of see which position we want it to be in. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely want it to be more over this direction, and we want it to move it forward. As you can see, it's a pretty long build. So let's go ahead and we're going to pull it towards us this way. Oh, pull down the control again. There we go. Maybe one more. And it doesn't look like it picked up the item frames, but that's okay. We can go ahead and add those in a little bit later. Not a problem. That is coming up pretty much right where we want it. I think maybe we want to move it just one more forward. Yeah, let's go one more like this. And I can extend the floor out here, no problem. Okay, and let's go check this side over here. Let's move it over a little bit more this direction. That. So we should have where the andesite's coming in here and the wood's coming in here. Go over one more this way. Nope, not that way. This way. Push it out. You push you that way. Yeah. Okay. That way it's kind of like in between these two. Yeah, I think that's going to work out fine. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, and that should do it right there. Now let's go ahead and put this in the schematic cannon here. Right in there. And we have some different options here. We can hit play. What we need actually gunpowder in here first. Add gunpowder in there. Okay. And this should be all set to go. Here's the settings. So we can go ahead and don't replace solid blocks, which we really don't want. I don't care if it does actually, because there's nothing there except air. So you can basically just kind of do this, and you can also skip. So skip missing blocks, protect tile entries, and so forth. But I think we're good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click this on, and we can go ahead then and just watch it as it builds the structure. There we go. Placing everything down the way it should, and let's get a better vantage point from up here. We can kind of see what's going on. Like I said earlier, this is just going to place the stuff down. It may or may not work properly with the different belts or how the mechanical arms are set up already. I might have to kind of, set those up and then put the filters back on. But as you can see, this is just building it exactly how we had it. The biggest thing is to make sure that you have all the materials you're going to need for the build in that chest that's attached to it, so you don't run into issues with it stopping and you don't know why it stopped. It's because it ran out of the materials, but it's an easy fix. Kind of like what just happened there, right? So something is missing. So let's go ahead and check this out here. Missing item, a mechanical belt. Okay, I put a whole bunch of mechanical belts in there, but that must not be enough. So this is why I brought all the materials over here. So if we needed to, we can go ahead and craft things really quickly. Where's the rubber? There we are. And luckily I've had, all these machines running for a while, so I have plenty of everything that I need in spades, so it's not an issue. But having these kind of components auto-craft will save time and make it easier for Dewey and I to create, just awesome builds without having to worry about this all the time. And it may be done. Let's go ahead and check this out. Make sure nothing's missing from it. Missing item. Mechanical crafter. How is that possible? I put extra mechanical crafters in here. All right, maybe I miscounted my mechanical crafters. So it is not done yet. Let's go back here. There we go. Okay, now is it done? Now, are we missing something else? Check it. Missing item. Gearbox. Okie dokie. All right, I'm going to keep this going, but you get the idea, right? You get the idea. It is actually building this exactly how I laid out before in the creative world. We just have to make sure that we have all the elements necessary to get this going. And then we need to hook it up to power, test it out, make sure that everything is correctly attached, and we're all good. Okay, and there we are. We are all done. It dings when it's done, but I had the video paused. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the power and see if we can do a couple sample runs. And like I said, I think, does it have it actually has the filters in there. I don't know if it actually keeps these assigned correctly to grab the depots the way they're supposed to grab. So let's just double check that is coming down correctly. Is this, that is not quite correct right there. Okay, so it didn't keep this the way that it should be, because I actually removed some of the, let's get a wrench down here, some of these right here, so we could, is that off? Wait a minute, what's going on here? Dots, and then andesite needs to come in here. Or is andesite coming in the other side? Yes, andesite is coming in the front. Okay, perfect. All right, but these need to all be open. Huh. Perhaps I actually need to lay these down again and get rid of those because it's not actually visually removing them. It might actually be fine, but it's causing kind of this visual glitch here. So let me go ahead and just remove these really quick, replace them back down again, and that should definitely help here. So okay, I am back down here. I have the rotational speed controller set for 24. I have a clutch right here now that's set to off. Here are the water wheels in case I didn't show this before. But we were running into problems, and I had to troubleshoot this for quite a little while here. But let's run it again and see if we got this working properly this time here. Okay, everything's splitting, things are getting cut. Andesite is splitting properly, going into all the different little tunnels here. Let's ride this up. Okay, is this working now? This was the problem right here. Okay, this is running really slowly. We may have to up the speed here, like put a rotational speed controller and just really crank it up for this. But the issue that we were having is, yeah, that's working right there. You can see the andesite casings being made. Are they going in? Yep, okay, perfect. Dropped out right there. That mechanical arm is grabbing and just rotating through where it's putting them. All right, and do we have shafts being made here? Yes, okay. Let's go ahead and check this out. All right, so we're getting tons of shafts. We have none of those yet. We'll have to watch that. We have the andesite casing, no problem. And because we have no gears yet, we don't have any of the any of the cogs yet. We don't have any of the gears yet. So I think what we're gonna need to do, let's go ahead and turn this off. Like I put that there just so I could turn this one off because this will overproduce like nobody's business. And it'll suck up all of the available andesite. Now this one, we should stick a rotational speed controller on and just try to speed it up a little bit here. Should also make sure it's going into the right spot. So it needs one more. Is that not getting power? Oh no, there it goes. Yeah, it's just really, really slow. Let's see here. Yeah, specifically, I think what we need to do is really, really crank up the speed for both the auto crafter here that is putting together, turning the logs into, just underneath here, logs into, or not logs, planks into, let me get down here real quick here, planks into buttons. So that's just a single thing, like the planks come up, that's why we have the two, if I can get over here. It's really hard to see because I kind of put this up a little bit high here, so let's go ahead and just pop one of these down. Alright, so we got the two saws that are taking the logs that are being split and converting it into the first the stripped logs and then stripped logs into planks. The planks get sent up to here into storage, and that if you put just a plank in an auto crafter by itself, it creates it turns it into a button. And we need the 8 buttons to go around the outside here. And that is how we get the cogwheels being made. Now the issue that I was having is I could not, for the life of me, get rid of the little lines here that separate these auto crafting blocks. No matter what I did, I could not get rid of it. Like if I tore it all down, replaced it, and then even shifted it over, it would shift where the lines were. It was really, really weird. I checked to see if it was on a chunk border. It wasn't. I moved it over here. Everything was fine. I put it back. It still did the same thing. So I ended up changing the orientation of this. It used to be this way, and now it's this way. And that worked. So I'm thinking it has something to do with the schematic cannon when it copies it over. It must have some kind of code that's still there that says it's supposed to go the other direction. Because remember, I had to rotate it to fit this direction. So I think the rotation actually messed up something. But this is all working. I just need to tweak the speeds. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can kind of crank up the speed of these two autocropters right here. And then see if we can get this working faster. Okie dokie smokies. Here we go. All right. So I put a rotational speed controller up here and set that to 64. So these two little mechanical crafters are working really quickly to produce both cogs and buttons. But when this is spinning, this is attached here, so we produce super fast andesite casings, which became too much. So I put another lever like I did over on this one to turn this off for right now, just to let the rest of the system catch up. But let's take a look and see how things are coming along here. So that was the original one there. We're getting a bunch of just regular cog wheels. And I put a bunch of the andesite casings, like 3 stacks of andesite casings, back into the system just because it was too much. And then we have our little gearboxes right here as well. So we're actually doing pretty well at producing things. We can watch the gearbox here real quick as it puts it in. It's relatively slow. I could actually transfer that power to the mechanical arms and get them spinning faster, which probably something I want to do just so they're keeping up with the speed. And I could also speed this mechanical crafter up as well by bringing it off of that one too, because I think having the conveyor belts on a slower speed is better, and having the mechanical crafters on a faster speed to keep up with the amount of material that's coming in, I think is critical. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but not in this episode, unfortunately. This is actually I've spent a long time working on this particular design and getting this to work again once I use the schematic cannon, which does a great job of putting the blocks down. Don't get me wrong, but it does mess up some of the mechanics, specifically with the mechanical crafters. The way that I have that set up right there, I imagine if you don't have this kind of cut off, so it's one big one thing where the materials can go around like that, it's fine. But because I had this like this, something was in the code that just was not working well, so I had to change that around. But yeah, otherwise everything is working very smoothly here. And that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode. If you enjoy what you see and like to see more from the Dad's Guide in the future, you know what to do. Click that like button, smash the subscribe button, and press that notification bell. So this was going to be a quick, really easy video for me to put together, and took a little bit longer than I'd like to admit to get this working properly. But we're on our way to creating a factory that Dewey and I can come to and just grab some of these machines as we need them, or components as we need them. And I plan on doing more. I think this is going to be kind of like one wing of the factory right here that I'm going to enclose with walls and make it look nice and pretty from the outside. But I think we're going to have some other areas that I will be working on as well. The next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this off camera, is I'm going to get materials that are down below in a mine that I've set up to make andesite and to grow trees and stuff like that. I'm going to bring those materials up to the surface through where that log was back there, and probably just shoots, both fans blowing it up like I do over in the other part of the little ruined factory over there. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Until next time, bye for now.